What up, what up, what up, what up? Top tier podcast sports, man. England are out of the World Cup in devastating fashion. 2-1 versus Argentina. 2 goals scored late in the match. One scored by Enzo Fernandez at the 85th minute, and then with extra time after 90, it was that man Lautaro Martinez coming off the bench, scoring a header. Both goals were assisted by the great Lionel Messi. Before that, you did have England up 1-0 with a really good cross whipped in by Morgan Rogers to Anthony Gordon. I want to say like 55th minute or so. And going back to the beginning of this game, it was very interesting to see that Morgan Rogers got the start over Madueke or Saka. Like, I thought Saka, if it's not Madueke, I thought Saka would be the guy, right? But he said, no, I'm going to switch things up and go Morgan Rogers. And I had tweeted out that either with these additions, because he also kept, like, he had Spence in, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, he's either going to look like a genius or an idiot with these selections. And he looked like a genius early. The game was so chippy and ugly. It wasn't a great watch, but it was an entertaining watch because you understand the rivalry between England and Argentina over their history. So it got choppy and it got very vicious. Honestly, Enzo Fernandez, who played a part in the comeback, is lucky. In some ways, he was lucky to not receive a yellow very, very early, where he just macho man flying elbowed Anderson. I would say within the first, 5 to 10 minutes of the match. But they let that slide. They let a lot slide. It was chippy, and it presented a very, very sluggish first half. Not many highlights to show, and then the second half started, and this is where England kind of used their fitness, because they are a fit team. They're an athletic team, and you would think that would take its toll and affect the game going forward, deeper in stoppage time, the 60th, 70th minute, things like that. And when Anthony Gordon scored, was, like I said, a beautiful cross by Morgan Rogers, which justified his selection from being in there, because I'm not sure that ball definitely is not made by Madueke. And I think when you watch Saka, his passes are really good crosses, but it's more so when he's in close into the penalty area. If you look at the ball that Morgan Rogers whipped in, he wasn't nowhere close to the line. He was really out wide. So to whip that ball in, and credit Anthony Gordon for beating his man, and that wasn't an easy finish. To cut across like that and kind of volley it, I believe it was with his right foot, if I'm not mistaken, that is not easy. But they scored. And now was the moment of truth after they scored, because Thomas Tuchel was brought in to do the complete opposite of what Gareth Southgate has done in his last cycles with the England squad, right? People complained that when they got a lead, they had a low block. They started playing defensive. Not only were they in disagreement with a lot of Southgate's substitutions, they were upset at the time he chose to substitute. A lot of times they said he waited too late. So you bring in a manager who is decorated, spells at Dortmund. He did well, obviously, at Chelsea, winning the Champions League there. So you want to see the separation. You want to see this is why he's the man, right? The game is progressing, and I will say after they scored the goal, I would say the first 10 minutes after that, they still was playing kind of like the same way they were playing in the first half. They were up and down, trying to get some 1-2s going as far as, hey, a flick on here and try to run in behind. They were playing, but something happened when maybe it was the hydration. I don't want to keep blaming the hydration period for how things change, but maybe it was around that time that Argentina just said enough of this. This is our game. and we're about to do the damn thing. We about to do it. And what I remember watching was Harry Kane and Reece James. Those two in particular, their level dropped. Kane looked at fatigued. Reece looked at sluggish. He got beat a few times on the back post, but it didn't lead to anything. And then, sure enough, when I said that, he went down as if he was cramping and stuff like that. Kane was null and void. And then I looked and I saw why. That's because nobody was pressing. They stopped pressing. They sat back and did everything that they used to criticize and ridicule Southgate for doing, but they're doing it under Tuchel. And I knew the game was in bad shape for England when Konsa came on. When Konsa came on, and then they took Rice out, and I said, oh, this is going to be bad. You got Dan Burn coming in. I get it. You want to defend crosses, and they were whipping in a lot of crosses to McAllister, who always finds a way to get his head on the ball, even though he's like 5'8", which is amazing. And so they went just totally defensive and still let goals in. The first one being a shot by Enzo Fernandez that I really think Pickford could have got. I feel like his positioning was off there, and also it's not his fault. He was born this way, but he's not the tallest of keepers. So if he was 6'5", he probably gets a hand on that, and that probably goes out of play. But it is what it is. It was a cross shot. It wasn't like a perfect shot into the corner. Like I said, I felt like it was a shot he could have got to if his positioning and reflexes were timed well enough. So they get that goal to tie it. Like I said, I think it was 85th minute, something like that. And you can tell from then on, it was just an onslaught. McAllister almost scored. A couple of really good saves by Pickford stopped the bleeding for a little bit, but then the inevitable happened. The ball gets back out to Messi, who, when I looked at the game, at first he was like centrally, he was in the middle a lot. He was like in those little pockets right in front of the center backs. But then as the game slowly got to the later stages, he started drifting out wider and wider to the right. And they couldn't for the life of me figure out where he was, it seemed like. Even though he was pretty much on the right the whole time, they just couldn't stop him. And then the go-ahead goal to Lautaro Martinez is, like I said, McAllister whips in a shot. It hits the post, bounces out. Jed Spence, who had a phenomenal game. And this is why this sucks, because you guys will probably never see Jed Spence play that well for England again. It's very likely y'all won't see that happen again. But anyway, it looks like he's hurt his leg or cramping up, because he hit the ball trying to hit it out of play, but it didn't go all the way out of play. Messi retrieves the ball, goes back out wide, whips the cross in. How it gets past Spence, and I forgot who the other player was. It might have been O'Reilly or somebody like that. But it gets past both of them, and Lautaro Martinez is in between Stones and Konsa. Konsa is behind him. Stones is in front of him. Not really sure who man that was, but he's just free, and it's a perfect pass right on his head. He didn't have to do much, just a simple turn and guide it and nestle it in, and that was pretty much it, man. He scored with it was 3 minutes after the 90th minute, so it was 3 minutes in stoppage time. I think the total stoppage time was like 8 or 9 minutes. And when he scored that, there was no, they can still pull this off for England. It was done. It was done. They played super defensive, and the substitutions, what killed me, what really did me in, was when Enzo scores to make it 1-1, I see that I got a ton of defenders on right now. Now we have to play Once that happens, you have to play as if we're at square one again, which means you have to bring on some attackers to create some balance and make them play some defense. So how you don't have Marcus Rashford ready, how you don't have Saka ready, Tuchel brings them on after Lautaro Martinez takes the lead. So you're basically saying, hey, guys, try to make something happen with these 4 minutes left in the game. Like, what he was trying to do was play it safe. Even when Enzo scored, he's like, okay, they probably, if we can hold on and defend some crosses, we can get into extra time, and then I'll make some changes. But you don't have that luxury to wait and hope that you make it to extra time. Like, that was just bad coaching, bad substitute. So Tuchel did great with the opening lineup of having Rodgers in on the right, Spence locking down Reece James, like he did. But Tuchel giveth, and then Tuchel taketh away. Easily a disaster class in management and substitutions, and I don't think he should be let go immediately, because you really didn't have to play differently than how y'all played the whole game. Because what's funny to me is when y'all played y'all actual game and, pressed here and there and were aggressive, you guys kind of outplayed them to me for stretches of that game. And the chances that they got during the first half and the beginning of the second half wasn't that great of chances. So how do you take the lead and then get that defensive is beyond me. Like, you can't play keep away with Messi, Lautaro Martinez, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez. They have some talent, serious talent over there, and you just let them walk you down. I've seen it. Like, Lisandro Martinez will just get the ball from Emi Martinez and just really walk with the ball all the way into the middle of the pitch. It then starts spraying the ball around. Meanwhile, the guys like Rice and Anderson are just backpedaling the whole way. Jude Bellingham had a great tournament. He was pretty non-existent. He didn't get out early enough for the shot. He was the only, but I do gotta give him props. He was the only one to step out on the Enzo Fernandez shot, but he was late still. They pretty much neutralized him. And the thing, what I said earlier, I'd also tweeted that when it was getting chippy, England, that's what Argentina wanted. You guys got a more talented team as far as depth is concerned, right? And you guys can play a better brand. You let them get into y'all heads, man. They got into y'all heads. Bellingham was shouting at players and Anderson, and y'all didn't keep y'all focus, and it cost y'all in the end. The better team won, and that's been a telltale of this World Cup, which I love. This has been my favorite World Cup so far, and not because a lot of the games are here in the States. I can give a damn where it's at, because before this, my favorite World Cup was 2006, just based on all the stars that was a part of that World Cup. But I like this World Cup because it's rewarding offensive-minded teams. Like, football wins in the end, because you got Argentina, who's not going to sit back against Spain. And we know what Spain is going to do. So the right teams made it. And England's going to be kicking themselves for years for this one, because honestly, if they hold on to that lead and beat Argentina, I actually think they got the team that could beat Spain. It sounds funny because Spain beat France and everybody thought, but I think they're well equipped to beat Spain. I feel like, just like how I felt Spain was always tailor-made to beat France, how the matchup is, how they style of play is, I feel that way about England versus Spain. I feel like Kane will be difficult for those particular center backs to handle, and then with Jude coming in through the middle, they haven't faced that type of dynamic before. So I thought that would be. Now with Argentina, Spain, it's a toss up. It's 50-50. Argentina has had the most incredible run of comebacks I've ever seen in world football, ever. They should have been done by Egypt, which seems like forever ago. But they should have been done by Egypt, man. So I don't even know what's going on, really, man. I really wanted England to make it to the finals just because it would have been different. Like Argentina been there, won that. You get Bellingham versus Yamal. You know what I'm saying? You get Kane. You know what I'm saying? You got Rodri on one side. Like I really wanted to see what that looked like. A rematch of the Euro finals. Because that's what I was thinking. If we get if we get France and Argentina, it's a rematch of the World Cup final, right? But you get a rematch of the European final if it's England and Spain. So I was like, that'll be cool too. But I'm not mad at Messi versus Yamal and so forth. So yeah, Tuchel, he got to get fired. And here's the thing, Rebecca Lowe, who's doing a part of the Fox broadcast here in the States, said a glaring stat to me, or to us. After Anthony Gordon scored his goal, from that point on until the final whistle, England only had 12% possession. 12%. That's that. You're a big side. You're a big nation. You're a powerhouse nation. How are you getting manhandled like that in possession? It's beyond me. Like that's just like lack of faith, lack of trust. I would love to see what was Tuchel saying on the touchline. Because if I'm him, I'm waving them to go forward. Like, stop pelling back. You know, you've seen it when you wave them in. Like, yo, go this way. What are we doing? Like, I don't know what happened. But that was bad. That was awful. Tuchel should be let go. And here's the facts. The fact is, you get two managers who are actually from their countries in the final. Why is that important? Because still to this day, especially with the elimination of Tuchel for England out of the World Cup, it has yet to be a coach from another country coaching and winning the World Cup. So basically, if your coach, if you're from England, you got to get you an English coach, man, because getting a coach from Germany, it's not going to happen. Look at the history. Argentina's been winning. Their coach is Argentinian. France with Deschamps, like it just, and I believe there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that. It might sound like, oh, that's like a useless stat. Then why hasn't that been broken yet? Like, what is the World Cup been out for how long? How many decades? Every national team that won, their coach was from that same nation. That should tell you something. So Tuchel, if England, if y'all want to win, y'all got to get the German boy out. Y'all better go. You better hit up. Y'all better hit up Southgate and reconsider. Be like, hey, big head. Hey, big head. Where you been at? You been playing? Why you been playing? Girl, I've been calling you. Like, y'all gonna have to go back. Y'all gonna have to really figure that out, or find like a diamond in the rough, man. I don't know, Eddie Howe, see if he interested. Like, y'all gonna have to really figure this out, because this ain't it. And I would say, honestly, this team was worse than the 2018 team that Southgate had. I feel like the Southgate team played much better football. Their problem was they played really great football, got the lead, and then did what Tuchel's team did. This team played bad the whole tournament, and then when they get a lead, they played even worse. At least leading up to getting a lead, I thought Southgate teams were playing some beautiful football. The relationship between who was at the time, Sterling and Kane, was great. Like that relationship was great. Like their midfield was workers. Like I thought that team was fun to watch. This team loses in the semis just like Southgate team. So you guys didn't even improve. So get that together. We move on. Argentina, Spain, 50-50. I'm just happy it's on a Sunday. I won't be at work around that time. So we're gonna enjoy that. But yeah, y'all leave your thoughts in the comments, man. I'm shocked but not shocked, and I'm disappointed in how England how England try to see that game through. Despicable. But shout out to Argentina. Shout out to Messi. I'm out.